The police visited me the day before yesterday, having been called by the lady downstairs. And here's a quick shot of me saying goodbye to the police officer.
Honestly, I'm really glad you came now. The whole, thank you very much indeed. You've been very helpful.
Before anything else, I just want to say that the police officer who attended couldn't have been more reasonable, professional. He let me talk. He told, mind you, he was no pushover. He actually started off by saying, look, we've had reports of harassing behaviour, and if I get anything like this again, you're going to be arrested. I'm like, okay, but what is it that I'm specifically supposed to have done this time? And it was quite vague to start off with. I thought they'd complained about the original video, saying that was somehow harassment or had led to harassment. But eventually it turns out that what it was, and I've got to hold my hands up, I had a few beers the previous night, and when I put music on, I put my headphones on, I've decommissioned the bass cushion, which I agreed to with Willow Park, but I still put my headphones on, and when I sing along to music, but I certainly didn't do anything harassing or aggressive, and I explained that to the officer, and I checked my own CCTV, and there was no sound of any shouting by me, or, to be fair, from her downstairs. One of the things that did come out was the police officer said to me, and it's something that Willow Park have said, and which I previously also thought as well, which is, if someone doesn't want to take their dog for exercise, it's not against the law. Well, I checked that yesterday, and it turns out, look at this. According to this 2006 law, passed by the government, obviously, there is a minimum level of exercise and stimulation and socialisation that a dog has to be guaranteed by law. And although the wording, as you would expect with anything governmental, is quite vague, clearly this dog downstairs, a German Shepherd, confined in a tiny flat with 3 large adults, many times they're shouting and screaming and smoking, and the dog isn't even allowed to do a toilet on a field that's less than 10 yards away. I think it's safe to say that if this 2006 law is checked, that the dog downstairs falls way below the minimum that any decent person would expect, and it's no longer just my opinion and the opinion of the PDSA, RSPCA, Pet Plan, and anyone that's got any knowledge whatsoever of medium or larger sized dogs, that it's also the government themselves who have said that a dog has a legal right to a minimum level of safeguarding, and they can say all they want about, the story downstairs has changed constantly. First of all, she was a pet. On day one, the woman actually said, yes, we'll be taking her for a daily walk. Then it changed. She was a guard dog. I heard her being described as a guard dog. Then, at some point, to Willow Park, she was described as a therapy or support dog, although in the UK it turns out there's no official accreditation. Anyone can just say that. Can you imagine anyone making all of these excuses to not take their own dog for a walk? It's just unbelievable. And the most recent story at Willow Park was that the dog doesn't live there at all, or the son who owns the dog, the guy who's, in my view, has caused practically this entire thing single-handedly. I haven't really got anything to lose by, and now that the police have been called again, and this isn't the first time, several times in the past. I mean, at one point, I heard her talking to the police a few months ago, talking about some horrific abuse that someone had been screaming at her, and I was thinking, oh dear, this is terrible. I don't like her, but I don't want anyone to be subjected to this type of abuse. 10 minutes later, the cops turned up, and it was me that she was actually reporting had done it. Totally fabricated, totally made up. And some of the things that she told neighbours could have got me seriously injured or killed. Her dog regularly barks at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. They have screaming rows. I'll keep this video to this. The police visited me. I'm very grateful to, for how fair-minded and professional he was. And listen, I know that sounds creepy. I think one or two of us, I have years and years and years ago, I had a very confrontational police officer one night that was giving me a really hard time. But, that's the only time I can think of it happening in about 30 years. And every time that the police have visited me or have spoken to me with relation to, downstairs, all of the officers involved have been totally reasonable and totally kind of compassionate and fair-minded, and I'm just saying that because, you know, credit where it's due. That's all for now. Hopefully I can forward this information about the legal requirements for dogs to have a minimum amount of effort to Willow Park, and if there's any update and if it seems relevant, I'll post another video. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and sorry about the hoarse, croaky throat. Bye.